So, a couple of weeks ago, I talked about what was going on with a channel known as Annoying Orange. And like I promised, although it's been 2 weeks since I promised that, so at least now I'm keeping my promise, I will cover up any updates that will happen. And admittedly, the reason why it took 2 weeks is because A, or free, but I don't know. But A, I admit I was lazy. B, actual real world events kind of delay some things, especially the creator of Annoying Orange, which thank goodness they're alive and thank God, if you know what I mean. And of course, finally, I had to really kind of look into this to see what was going on. In fact, I had to refresh myself with the video we're going to talk about. So this is going to be a update to the video, long-awaited video, I promise. Now, to clarify though, this video will be super short because there's honestly not much information we gotten from it. And there are a few other updates as well to point out, but for the most part, most of it is pretty straightforward, and honestly, it's a very interesting video. However, before we continue, there is one more big thing to talk about, and that is that I will be kind of showing somewhat of the video, but I won't be playing it. Just, actual pauses on the screen of the video. The reason for this is, and of course, just in case the the sound is off. The reason why is because the previous video justifiably got hit with kind of a copyright thing. Even though, to be fair, it wasn't like all bad. It's still up. It's copyrighted stuff, so I have to be very careful. Fortunately, there's not much to dive into with this one, but there are some very interesting things worth noting, so it's not going to be a big deal. So let's go ahead and get started. So the major point of interest of this video is we kind of start to learn what Analog's Orange main plan is. For context, if you haven't caught up yet, pretty much, apparently, like I probably predict, it seems like Annoying Orange is being possessed by Analog Orange, and his original version is stuck in this nightmare world. This is even further proven through this video, where we see he's definitely not the same Orange that many people know. And let's go ahead and get the literal elephant out of the room. This character you see here that will also appear on the thumbnail. Well, you see, that character is more or less possibly a nod to how the fan base has been recently receiving the character, because it has been a mixed bag of the character turning in horror. I personally don't mind it because it's kind of funny to look into this and it's not a big deal. But many are questioning when on earth this whole madness is going to end. And of course, you can tell it is pretty much a reference to the fandom with the whole, Annoying Orange things, not understanding the whole situation, and also really just ends up justifiably getting killed in the end because he really was a dumbass, or rather being a smartass, and really should have kept his mouth shut. But there are a lot of interesting things to talk about with this. For starters, since it seems like Analog's Orange's cover has been fully blown, it seems like now Analog Orange is no longer acting like Orange to hide his identity. This is definitely further proven in this video. Next up, as you may have noticed, these emerald-like things, or these diamond-like things. Pretty much what's funny is, one of the funniest things that is brought up in this video is we kind of learned weirdly what Annoying Orange plan is, and that is that he's going to use these jewels, and I'm going to just call them jewels to say the least, and not what they're actually called in the video. And literally, he needs 7 of these to become a ultimate form. Yes, as you can jokingly guess, this is a parody towards that of the Sonic the Hedgehog series, with them even confirming they calling it the Chaos Emerald. But to jokingly kind of play into the joke, we're just going to go ahead and just call them jewels, because I have a gut feeling these are definitely not the Sonic version of Chaos Emeralds. And to be fair, it's not like Chaos Emerald is clearly copyrighted or something. I don't know. But anyways, what's fascinating is though is why this is jokingly pointed out in the video. It sort of is a nod to that of Sonic EX in some way, being the fact that this is like an orange.exe, and we have seen this before, believe it or not, as exe has actually appeared before in a sort of annoying orange episode. Not the character Sonic.exe, but the parody of the whole thing of exe, which is kind of a creepy pasta thing that often appears in horror games. So that's worth noting. Other than that, there's not really much to say other than it just confirms that he's planning to do something more evil with this, and we yet still don't know why he needs a ultimate form. However, that's when things get pretty interesting and weird. Next up, we see, of course, pair with the evidence book. Now, fun fact, this has already reappeared before in a previous episode of The Orange, which I'll briefly show here. And that is the fact that we do see that he has been definitely been paying attention to a lot of evidence. Like we have the question of why the grapefruit voices the link, and of course the previous mentioning 2016, which honestly also shows a DVD, or excuse me, not a DVD, a VSH tape. There we go. I don't know why VHS tape. There we go. I don't know why I fumbled that. Sorry about that. Of 2006, which I will admit I kind of missed, but to be frank, it mostly still shows 2016 on that in that episode. So there's a lot to go over, and he also places a key in this area right here. So yeah, he's been on a hunt pretty much like everyone else to try to figure out what the hell happened. And jokingly speaking, this is pretty much possibly a parody to how ARGs usually go functions. Everyone is going to try to look into things. I mean, if you think I'm joking, let's actually backtrack a lot and actually talk about something that jokingly did happen, to say the least, in the channel during between these two videos. And that is this thumbnail, which jokingly shows with a title saying "Knowing Orange, watch these episodes for clues." Now, honestly, I did watch these because it's just thing. But the only thing, sorry about that, the only thing about this that I can find is just the voice changer of course, the what happened to Grapefruit when they had to replace the voice actor for him. So, other than that, though, the other episodes, I honestly do not know. If you guys do know, please let me know in the comics below if you want to. I don't mind because honestly, I will not get it if I just plainly watch this stuff. The only other thing I can find out is in the ending, they use a video that involves two scientists looking into Annoying Orange and then becoming insane, which is actually is something that jokingly happened. There's actually a separate video, which is actually pretty funny. Like, it is a compilation, so whatever. But it definitely begs the question, what on earth are they talking about, and what's this all have to do with the Annoying Orange in some way, to say the least. So the next major thing worth pointing out is Pearwood literally ran into running because he can't hide from a guy who seems to have like all eyes in the sky at this point. And he ran into a house, which I'm presuming he unlocked with the key he found. Here, as he points out in the video, this is pretty much a house with literally all the knives used to kill every single person on the planet, apparently. Or at least in this world, aka the food. And weirdly enough, when Analog appeared, he also showed this knife, which is literally says the creator's name. Yeah, this is the creator's own name. And why, once again, I'm confused. Now, to be fair, there is one thing on top of my head what this could be representing. Like I said before, this whole ARG thing is obviously probably a middle finger nod towards how people thought the Annoying Orange series was dying and of course it was becoming too kid friendly kind of thing. And just to clarify, I do not know, and I need to make this crystal clear, I do not know what this is supposed to be about, but in a way it possibly could be a joke nod to how the creator themselves have changed in a way through the videos. But it's definitely, I don't think that was the case. I'm just bringing that up because there's a lot of references to going back in time before knowing orange would make a unique shift in some way. That's my theory of it. And to be fair, it's a little bit sloppy of how I put it, but it really does feel like this is what it's supposed to be representing. But I could be wrong. And again, just to clarify, it literally is just a little bit of theory right now. Because honestly, God, I do not know what this reference, but it definitely is kind of funny. And what's even more funny, which I think I may have missed, but I do not sure. Pear said it was you in some way, so there may have been a video that showcased the killer in the actual series. I mean, not the killer, the creator in the actual series dying in their own series. But I have Zada idea. To be very honest, it's a question mark, exclamation point. I have no idea. But yeah, this is definitely like the most weirdest scene ever. And of course, just to clarify, who knows what will happen to Pear, because Pear then later on gets hunted down by Orange because he didn't just leave the house for some reason. I don't know. It's the usual cliche of horror movies. And that's honestly practically it, as I do not know what else could be there in the long run. All I know is the fact that this has happened. And honestly, I just don't really know what could be possible with this series. All I know is I kind of already understand what they're going for with this series, at least one of the messages. But other than that, I still think it's pretty cool though. Like, it's very funny to see them actually now reference the fans questioning this, because it is kind of weird in some way, because they're not getting this is just a simple series the creator is trying to go over with, and it's fun to say the least. It really is a fun thing to look into. Of course, as promised, I will actually start making videos like this to update you all what will happen with the annoying orange saga, with this analog saga, but we'll have to see, to say the least. But anyways, this has been Floxcat, and I'm snapping out of here. Bye bye.